So in this video, we're going to be talking about the financial aid local councils need in order to keep functioning. So normally councils deal with stuff like bins, libraries. Then you have like the council and the county council, which gets really confusing because, especially in a place like Northampton, we have like Northamptonshire County Council, which do different things to Northampton Borough Council, and it really frustrates me how stupid a system we have. So, anyways, English councils have called on the government to provide £5 billion income guarantee to prevent local authorities from having to cut services as the coronavirus hits finances. So the council network has warned that councils could lose £2.4 billion as income from tax and business rates fall. The group said councils would have no chance but to suspend non-essential expenditure and cut services. So no one wants the bins to be cut, man. That is a nightmare. No one should want. The government says it has provided an unprecedented £3.2 billion to councils. A spokesman said it was giving councils the resources they need to tackle the immediate pressure they have told us they're facing. This is on top of English councils' core spending power rising by over £2.9 billion this financial year and a further £600 million to help reduce the infection rates in care homes. He added, the county councils network, which represents 36 county and unitary local authorities in England, says its members could lose an estimated 430 million from a fall in fees and charges. It also says council stand to lose up to £2.4 billion if the proportion of people unable to pay council tax rises to 20% and income from business rates fall by 10%. So you can see the council's in a really precarious situation here. Last month, the local government association said the income base was collapsing for councils, with leisure centres shut, public transport cut, and parking fees not coming in. All of this making sense because obviously leisure centres like the one nearer to my house has a swimming pool and like a basketball court and other stuff, and so like with people cutting their gym memberships or having them frozen, it means that these places aren't making any money, so it means like the council are making less by extension. So the CCN, what was that, the county councils network, warns that councils may have to suspend non-essential expenditure and implement cutbacks in services, including those aimed at fighting the spread of the coronavirus. So it'd be very counterintuitive, and this is a big threat here from these councils saying that, look, if you don't give us the money that we need, then we're not going to be able to deal with the coronavirus, making the pandemic last a lot longer and thus hurting themselves but also hurting central government in the process. So it's a very stupid and risky move coming from the councils. To prevent this from happening, the CCN says the government should make $5 billion available to compensate councils from their lost income, pointing out the government wrote off the NHS's $13 billion debt following the outbreak of the virus. Do not compare yourself to the NHS, big man. Your councils are not as important as the NHS, despite all the things that you guys do and all the importance that the council has, especially when some of these councils are run so badly. Councillor David Williams, chairman of the County Councils Network, said funding provided by the government was very welcome and provides vital resources to meet immediate cost pressures, recognising that councils have done much of the heavy lifting during the pandemic from protecting the vulnerable. You guys have not done a good job of that, and that's a separate article. If we look here, coronavirus care homes faced funding cuts if they didn't take in patients, and this was from councils. Several councils threatened to withhold funding to care homes, funding to help care homes deal with coronavirus outbreak if they didn't agree to take COVID-19 patients. Sky News reveals, and this is a separate video will be coming out next week. But if we go back to our main story here, so you can see that these councils did not do the most heavy lifting. It was the NHS that did the most heavy lifting, and you guys made things worse in some respects. But that's a whole different story. So, section 114, here he goes. Councillor Richard Watts, who chairs, spoke about some councils warn they'll soon face the prospect of section 114 reports. This will lead to spending blocks and in-year cuts to the vital local services that are supporting communities through the crisis and the national effort to beat the deadly virus. So what they're threatening is, look, if you guys don't give us the money, then we're going to have to do cuts, which is pretty normal, to be fair. It's just the cuts they make could be catastrophic to a lot of vulnerable people that rely on the council for help, and obviously just normal everyday stuff like just having your bins collected, making sure your roads are repaired. And so here we have something that's interesting. Speaking to the BBC, Conservative leader of the Staffordshire County Council, Philip Atkins, acknowledged the council's finances will be stretched. He says the virus has cost the council around 50 million, and the local authority says it's so far spent 20 million supporting the local care sector. So we don't know if that's 20 million on top of the 50 million, and then he's saying that they spent an extra 20 million supporting the local care sector. So that's about 70 million. 50 million they've lost, or the 50 million extra that's cost them, an extra 20 million to help support the local care homes. The government has given us 38 million to help us cover the cost, so there's a bit of a gap. Well, surely that's a massive gap then. So you're talking either that's 12 million if we're just talking about if the 20 million is including the 50 million, or if it's not, then you're talking a lot more. And so yeah, he's a bit dim. Or he's not a bit dim, but maybe he's just being optimistic, I don't know. And Staffordshire is a massive Tory council as well. You can see there's a big majority there. So if the government don't help councils like this, then I struggle to wonder who else they wouldn't help. But not everyone is lucky to have a competent council. And so here we have my wonderful council, yeah. Northamptonshire Council borrows 18 million to pay off a toxic 10 million loan. And so Cash-strapped Council borrowed 18 million to exit a toxic 10 million loan deal. So it's just funny. It's just funny, It's just funny. And so talking about councils, they're going to need a lot of help. And my council will definitely need a lot of help, seeing as how incompetent they are. They sold this building and then they leased it back, because that's how stupid they are. And so you can see the councils will need a lot of help. And I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully like, comment, share, subscribe. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one.